Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand after.
Hello friends, and welcome again to another Street Fighter Duel video.
Okay friends, in today's video we'll be talking about a new ability or new skill or new introduction to a new theme of the gameplay, and if this works with them, maybe they will do other units that have the same properties so we can use them in the team. And it's pretty broken if it could have the functionality of stacking and something like that. But sadly in our case it doesn't right now. And we're talking about Furisode Makoto. So we're gonna go and talk about her and check her skills and kit. Now she's a fire faction character that is basically a support pseudo tank that will let your team tank a little bit, and she mitigates a little bit of damage, buffs you a little bit, and she's a healer. Some type of healer, so she's not the best healing unit in the game, but we'll be talking about her. Now she's a support, of course, and she's a fire unit, plus she's agility. Agility means she has high rate of dodge. And if you want to know about dodge more, dodge could be countered by pressure. So if you have 100% dodge rate, if the enemy has 0 pressure, it means you'll take no damage most of the time, or all the time, let's say. But if, to attacks, to normal attacks, not only skills. I think skills have other shenanigans. If it's not physical, it's something like spell or something like that, it will be different. But if you want to counter dodge, if you have pressure, let's say you have 100% dodge rate and you have 10% pressure on the enemy will deal 10% of the damage that he initially does to you, and you will dodge 90% of it. That's how pressure and dodge work in this game. So let's go and talk about her. So her passive, first of all, reduces Flower Dance, reduce the chance of enemy attacks hitting Makoto by 15%. On her only, 15%. That's the initial thing. It will be for her until the end of the battle. 15% she will be evading the or having chances to evade all the damages. Now this so far is not countered in the game unless they tell you that there's a hit that it's must hit. It will be a must hit, then it will negate that. And negating that with Zangief 6 out of 6 always. We need to keep telling people that this will help always, and it works like that. So she has 15%. Now it's not the highest rate. If that stacks or it gets higher, that would be super annoying because there's no counter for that for so far in the game. So after unleashing any combo, grant Flower Blessing to friendly fighters with the lowest HP percentage. So whoever is on lowest HP, she will give them this buff, which is called Flower Blessing. It does nothing until you get hit by an AoE. Now if the AoE kills you, you will not start healing. But if you don't die and you continuously heal by the Flower Blessing, this will be helpful a little bit. This is why she's not the best healer in her mechanics, but it's okay. Let's continue talking. This will not target friendly fighters who already have Flower Blessing, so she will give it only one time in the battle for the allies. So reduce the chance of enemy attack hitting Makoto by 20%. It goes to 20%. So her passive, on her only. Fighters with Flower Blessing recover 30% of damage received as HP when hit by an AoE attack, exclusively for AoE. So they will receive 30% of the damage taken. If they get hit by 100 damage, they will take 30% as HP. So they will recover. It doesn't mean that they will take only 70% damage and 30% from the 100 will be healing. The enemy doesn't heal you. The enemy will hit you with 100 damage and then you will recover 30 HP because of the AoE. Now if the 100 one-shot you, will not recover anything, you will immediately die. But if you can sustain and get low on HP, 30% of that will heal you up. This is why she's not the best healer there, and it's AoE. So if your enemy is playing a single target team, they could one-shot you, one-tap you, you're never gonna heal. So keep that in mind. So extend the duration of Flower Blessing to 18 seconds. Now, they didn't tell us how long the Flower Blessing lasts initially. I bet it's 15 seconds or something. It goes up to 18 seconds. So 18 seconds is the bottom line for that. That's on her passive. It means this will be for all her attacks or buffing. So whichever skills she'll use and give you Flower Blessing, it will be for 18 seconds. When hit by an AoE attack, recover 20% of... It lasts 12 seconds, so this is what they said. It goes now to 30%, so the Flower Blessing is 30% of HP for 18 seconds, not 12 anymore. It's okay versus AoE teams. You can use it to evade, or not evade, but to heal a little bit of the damage that you're taking. Sometimes we don't get one shot, so healing, and it's an AoE team that you're fighting. She shines here, or she helps your team a little bit at least. So her super. And her super is the most important thing if you don't have her cars built. So let's talk about her super. Strike, and it's a buff actually. So strike an enemy 3 times, dealing damage that is equal to 630% of attack in total. While unleashing this skill, gain 30% damage reduction. For herself, only 30% damage reduction so far. Each strike grants flower protection to all friendly fighters other than this fighter. So she will get flower protection, and she will give all the teammates flower protection. We'll be talking about that. It's the best thing about her. While unleashing this skill, increase the damage reduction by 50%. It means if she uses her super, she will take 50% less damage from any kind of damage source. Flower protection reduces the chance of enemy attacks hitting by 20%. On her, now she has 15% basic initial, and it goes to 20%. Plus this 20%, it means 40% on her to miss for the enemy to miss hitting her, and 20% on your lineup. Now this ability does not stack. We'll be reading this soon. Reduce the chance of enemy hitting by 15% for 8 seconds. Does not stack. No, it goes to 20% here when she uses it. So what do you understand here? 20% you will not. So even if they have pressure, pressure does not counter this skill, the flower protection. There's no counter for it anyway right now, unless dispelling. So if you have a dispeller that will dispel debuffs, or you have the C2 of Zangief, which also removes in debuffs and dispel, or the C2 of Combat Guile will remove that. I think somebody that dispels is Rose, the Diviner Rose as well. But anyway, situationally, you can't counter that unless you dispel them from their buffs, which is really good. And 20% is okay. If it was 50%, that would be awesome. Actually, she would be one of the broken utility units in the game. And it does not stack. The thing is about it, it does not stack. So you can't spam it and get 20 above 20 above 20. So you're gonna get to the 100 and absolutely wreck everything. So this doesn't work for her, sadly. And it's only for 20%, and it lasts for 8 seconds. So what does that mean? It will mean if you're going back to back, this only for 8 seconds. When it gets removed, it gets reapplied. So it doesn't stack, but you can consistently have the 20% if you're going back to back. Now, is it good for PvP? Not really. It's okay for PvP, but it's not the best thing. It could help you. The thing about it in PvP, that 20% is a gamble, okay, on these units. And if you don't have overpowered units, let's say you have units such as Gouken played with her, that would be nice. They can miss their entire attack, plus if they hit, Gouken can give you the shield, and you can play a hyper carrier like Visconde Vega or Leonardo or somebody else that could absolutely destroy the enemy team, like Oni, or somebody that deals massive AoE damage. So let's go and read her C1. Okay, so Dazzling Tsurugi. Perform a downward kick and on an enemy, dealing damage equal to 414% of attack. Her attacks are decent, by the way. Also recover 15% of max HP. Now, for herself, recover HP. Now, increases damage, blah blah blah. Also heal friendly fighters with Flower Blessing for the same amount of HP. So she can recover the HP also to units on your lineup that they have a Flower Blessing. So now she gets to heal even if you have Flower Blessing and you didn't take AoE damage, but she uses her C1. If you have the Flower Blessing, she will heal you for this amount, the 15% of her max HP, which is good to build her on Fighting Souls that gives you bonus HP, max in HP for her, so the HP recovery will be awesome. So now she becomes a good solid healer if you are, your allies have the Flower Blessing. So it doesn't require them to get hit by AoE, this C1 will heal them. Let's read her C2. So throw a punch followed by downward kick to at an enemy, so it means single, dealing damage equal to almost 600% of attack. Also heal all friendly fighters for 12% of HP of her max HP. 12% is absolutely great. Now they didn't say anything that requires here Flower Blessing or whatever. She will heal you for 12% of her max HP. Anyway, with using her C2, and her C2 does incredible amount of damage for support actually. Increase the damage to 654% of attack. Also heal friendly fighters with Flower Blessing for 12%. So in addition of healing them for 12% immediately, if they have also Flower Blessing, she will heal them more for 12%. That means 24% of her max HP. That makes her a stable, good healing unit actually, and she will apply the Flower Blessing to your allies, but it is for 18 seconds. You need to keep that in mind, that it could be less than that. I think it's 18 seconds that we said. Where's the flower shenanigan? For 12 seconds, it goes for 18 seconds. So 18 seconds, you'll have the flower blessing, and it could give you that more. Let's read her fighting spirit. So she gets bonus HP 24%, which is good. It means it maximizes her maximum HP. Attack bonus 15%, defense bonus 15%, regular effect resistance 12%. Effect resistance, it means debuffs and control effects will less work on her. 12% is not a big number, but it helps. Hey, she's a support. So the skills, healing flower. So whenever Makoto gains flower blessing, her healing rate is increased for 12% for 18 seconds. So every time she applies flower blessing on herself, she will increase her healing rate to all friendly allies and herself by 12% for 18 seconds. So rinse and repeat. 18 seconds is the duration of the flower blessing. When it gets removed, it's reapplied, and then you're gonna get the buff again and again. So it's infinite until the end of the battle. You don't even need to say all of that. Just say unlocking her exclusive, amplify her healing for 18 seconds. Now I know stuns and interrupts can land her not to put flower blessing on herself, which is understandable, but makes her a little bit weaker and a little bit not being used most likely. So her assist. When the assisted fighter is deployed in the starting team, grant them flower blessing. Now they say flower blessing, but they didn't say the duration. I hope it's not only for 18 seconds at the start of the battle, well, it's for the end of the battle. It means whenever they take AoE damage, they will be healed for 12% of Makoto's or 15% of Makoto's max HP on them, which is okay. It helps in some scenarios. Healing is not the best thing in the game. Right now, shielding, damage immunities, damage resistance, amplifying the damage, buffing, these are the things that you're looking for. But for sustainability a little bit, she's okay in some sense. I would prefer the healing of and the shields of Summer Yang. It helps a lot actually. Plus with his mechanic, he can dodge a little bit of attacks himself from getting from the attack position. But with testing, we're gonna understand if she works even better more. So whenever Makoto gains flower blessing, increases her healing rate by 18%. So her initial is 12%, it goes to 18%. At plus 20, upon granting flower blessing to any friendly fighter, there is a 35% chance to grant flower blessing to another friendly fighter. This will not target the fighters that already have it. So what happens at 20? So herself on the lineup, and there's two other units, and there's one in the attack position that we don't care about. So she will do any combo, she will gain flower blessing, and she will give it to somebody else. And then she will have 35% to give it to another character. It means with one rotation, with one skill, she might give your entire lineup. Now where does this fall off? If you're playing somebody like Sagat, the Pharaoh Sagat, or Gen, and you have clones, and the clones get the buffs and not the main character, this is where it gets a little bit confusing and not that good. So don't play her with clones most of the time. At plus 30, upon granting flower blessing to any friendly fighter, increase Makoto's crit rate by 10% and combo damage by 25% for 18 seconds, stacks up for 4 times. Upon granting a flower blessing. So if she does one rotation and grant everybody flower protection, that's 3 flower protection. It doesn't have an interval, but it has a time for 18 seconds, so she will gain 3 like stacks of that, which is really good actually. Her damage is not the best in the game, but as a support, increasing her crit rate and damage is absolutely good, and heals can crit if I'm not mistaken. So her cards, let's read what her cards does. And her cards is the most important thing that you need to focus on, is the 3R3 at least. So upon granting flower blessing to friendly fighters, also grant them flower protection. There's no a chance or maybe not. They will get the flower protection. It means they will have a dodge chance of 20%, or not dodge chance, but a chance of 20% that the enemy will miss the entire attack on them, which is really awesome. But this does not stack. That's the problem with her. If this stacks, she would be absolutely utterly broken on lineups. It means you'll not take any type of damage on any lineup that you play her with. But maybe in the future they will do that. I'm ready to exploit her, but she's a so much RNG unit. 20%, it means like 8 times out of 10 you're gonna get hit, and 2 times you might not get hit unless you're super lucky, which is absolutely understandable. Upon granting flower protection to friendly fighters, also increase their attack by 25% for 10 seconds. So what does that mean? So flower protection stays for 8 seconds, and you're gonna get 25% for 10 seconds. There's an interval in 2 seconds to get 25 to 50%. Now it's if this stacks, if upon getting stacks and refreshes the 10 seconds, and it stacks, it could go up to infinite numbers, if I understand correctly, because this is what we did with Flame, and we had a big discussion about it, the Flame Chun-Li. So her stacks does not work as intended, so how could we get her to 50 stacks? We can get her to 50 stacks because it refreshes the duration. So here, if it refreshes the duration, and I didn't test her at 6 out of 6, I have tested her at 3 out of 6. At 6 out of 6, it means if you nail it with the right timing, this 25% can go endless because it's for 10 seconds. If the 10 seconds refresh and you keep going with rotations, you're gonna get 25, then 25. It doesn't say it stacks because 8 seconds is on the Flower Blessing and 10 seconds on the 6 out of 6. So there's a 2-second gap. If you apply this while reapply the Flower Protection while it expires, you have 2 seconds still having the buff of the 25% attack. If you get another Flower Protection, you're gonna have 50% damage bonus. I don't know if the 10 seconds does not refresh. This is the only problem. If you know, if you have any idea, let me know in the comment section if you tested her and it worked for you. Because if this works, she will be absolutely broken only for her 6 out of 6. So the damage will have no limit. It means you can go to 1000, but you can't go to 1000, but you know what I mean. The damage will ramp up and ramp up and ramp up. That would be absolutely awesome. And yeah, that was it all for Makoto. Let me know your opinions in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, we thank you for watching. And as always, stay frosty. Peace.
Time to fight, time to fight. Never give up.